Assalamualaikum and hello everyone, my name is Farhana and I'm going to introduce to you guys about ethanol. Before we start, ethanol can also be called as alcohol drinking, and ethanol can be written as CH2CH3OH instead of C2H5OH or ETOH. Next, why we call ethanol as primary alcohol? Because it has two hydrogen ions attached to the carbon that consists functional group OH, which is alcohol. Okay guys, so if you want to know, ethanol can produce in many sources, which is in this slide we provide 4 sources, which is natural, transport, diffuse and industry. So I'm gonna go into the first one, which is natural sources, which is we can find in plant and microbiological process. For example, life of bacteria and fungi. Next, we have industry sources, which is manufacturing product, which can produce product like food, beverage and metal. And the third one is diffuse sources, which is can present in architectural coating, produce a product, a fuel combustion activity for example. And the last one is a transport sources, which is can produce in the exhaust. If you want to know, evaporation of vehicle lead to the production of ethanol. So for the last one, we know that ethanol is highly flammable, so we need to be careful while leading this chemical.
Now we are going to talk about properties of ethanol. There are 2 types of properties, which are physical and chemical. As physical, ethanol is a colorless liquid and it has a characteristic of sweet odor. It has a density of 0.789 gram per millimeter. As for boiling point of ethanol, it is 78.4 Celsius, and as for melting point, it is negative 114.1 Celsius. As for chemical, the ethanol has the properties of combustivity, oxidation, acid-base properties, and esterification. As for use and benefit of ethanol, it can be divided into 3, which is ethanol heaters and fireplace, transportation, and hand sanitizer. As for ethanol heater and fireplace, ethanol-based heater and fireplace are a cleaner alternative to traditional wood-burning stove and fireplace, emitting less indoor pollution. As for transportation, ethanol can be blended with gasoline to produce E10 and EBS, which can be used in flex-fuel vehicle. And as for hand sanitizer, ethanol can be act as antibacterial and antifungal properties, where ethanol can be known as ethyl alcohol. Now, let's go into formation of alcohol oxide. Alcohol oxide can be formed through the reaction of an alcohol with a strong base, such as sodium hydride or sodium metal. The process of this reaction is when alcohol oxide are a strong base used in depronation reaction. Alcohol oxide can act as nucleophile in substitution and elimination reaction. Metal alcohol oxide are used in salt gel process to create materials like glasses or ceramics. Now, as for esterification process, it is a chemical reaction that forms an ester as the main product. This reaction typically involves reacting of alcohol with carboxylic acid with the presence of catalysts such as sulfuric acid. Now, as for esterification process, it is a chemical reaction that forms an ester as the main product. This reaction typically involves reacting of alcohol with carboxylic acid with the presence of catalysts such as sulfuric acid.
For the last reaction is oxidation. In oxidation reaction, only primary and secondary alcohol that can react because carbon that attach to the hydroxy group have hydrogen atom into it, so the compound is unsaturated. If primary alcohol goes into the oxidation reaction, it will form aldehyde and must have presence of oxidizing agent such as pyridinium chlorochromate and acidify dilute sulfuric acid to form aldehyde. So guys, when ethanol react with oxidizing agent that I mentioned just now, it will produce ethanol and water. But ethanol can undergoes another oxidation reaction and form ethanoic acid. Okay guys, before we end this video, I'm gonna tell you guys about conclusion of ethanol. So the first one, ethanol is a versatile compound which is have various application across industry such as healthcare, beverage and energy. Okay, so for the second, which is it a characteristic, which is ethanol as a solvent, food and disinfectant industry on how broad it used and the benefit it confers. So guys, for the last one is the significance of this presentation to increase knowledge more on ethanol compound and it is implication in boost, which is everyday life and industrial process.